Hi, my name's Carol Woods. I live in Lancaster, or I should live in Lancaster. Currently I live like Anne Frank. This is England in the 21st century. My case as a whistleblower began 10 years ago when I was a social worker for Lancashire County Council. My whistleblowing was in regard to the illegal land seizure leading to the illegal eviction of tenants on the site known as Spile Community School, a site of 134 acres of land in Blackpool, which I did not know but was earmarked as part of the casino development. The fraud involved in that land seizure by Lancashire County Council was led in part by Sherry Blair, who was their legal representative, telling them they could tell the tenants, for example, they have no tenants' rights and could be evicted from their homes forthwith. I warned that serious events would take place if Lancashire County Council did not halt the way they were expelling people from their homes. Sheila Bridge was murdered as a result of actions taken by the county. That is, in anybody's language, corporate manslaughter. The police refused to get involved. Why did the police refuse to get involved? Paul Stevenson at the time was Chief Constable of Lancashire Police. Lancashire County Council have a legal department staffed by head Ian Fisher. Ian Fisher is also the legal representative of Lancashire Police. His deputy, Ian Young, ditto. They all help Lancashire Police, if not directly, work for them, as well as the county. Conflict of interest does not occur to them at all. Given the bullying, etc., that usually follows any whistleblower and the subsequent removal of them from their posts, they go to tribunals. There is nowhere to go in tribunals in many, many cases. Tribunals up and down the country issue documents, no court crest, no court seal, unsigned, undated. They hold massive cases involving many people over many, many days, and all at public expense, and they are all meaningless. They are not entered into the public registers. They have never legally been heard, but the public pay for it. That is use of public monies for private purposes. It all fulfills the criteria for a Watergate scandal type in England. Cost documents are produced. They are worthless, undated, unsigned, no court crest, but people are issued with them. They believe they owe massive amounts of cost, £30,000, £40,000, £50,000. They turn to the police for fraud. The police refuse to help because they are involved. Greater Manchester Police, in relation to Manchester tribunals, for example, DS Andrew Rigby, bully, liar, along with one or two others from there. Michael Todd, Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, was asked to investigate my case in November 2007. In March 2008, Mike Todd passed the file for prosecution to the Crown Prosecution Service via Ian Rushton. Ian Rushton's name is all over my CPS files. We all know what happened to Mike Todd in March 2008. Where does one go then in this country for justice? Nowhere, especially as thugs can arrive on your doorstep and evict you. You have no rights as owners, tenants, mortgagees, lodgers, or anything it seems. On the 5th of September 2008, Greater Manchester Police raided my house. 5¼ hours they spent searching it. Illegally, they broke their way in. After harassing me so much, I was forced to leave home to let them do it. They did not find what they wanted. So I was then served yet another false court document. Stephen Sainsbury, Court Manager, Lancaster County Court, works in conjunction with Lancashire County Council. They have been bankrupting people for years, uncontested, issuing false court documents. Judges never know that their names are used on this paperwork. It is not worth the paper it is written on. I am being evicted from my home for rent arrears. a home I owned outright worth £250,000. I have never had a mortgage on my house. On the 27th of October, the thugs did indeed arrive. They ripped out the whole ground floor double glazing and erected a steel door over my once beautiful period stained glass front door, and they drilled internal walls. Possibly they were looking to see if I had hidden compartments of files. Orbis, St Helens, was involved in that. Atlas, a local removal firm who removed all my contents, every single item down to the last cobweb. Over £50,000 worth of antiques and collectibles disappeared. Some reappeared in City Council lockups where City Council employees had taken what they wanted and they thought they could hide them away until the day came when they could share out between themselves. That day has not yet arrived. It is nearly 2 years ago. That day will not arrive. I want assistance to help me go home, reclaim my house, reclaim my belongings, and put a stop to all this kind of behaviour. A man appeared with Greater Manchester Police on the 5th of September and again on the 27th of October 08, purporting to be a bailiff from Lancaster County Court. He was a D. Simmons. D. Simmons also impersonates a lawyer from Newcastle. D. Simmons is a dimwit, nothing else. Make no mistake, none of these people are legal. None of these documents are legal. Everything is Scotch-mist. Everything is bogus. And that is why it is so difficult to fight these people. Given Sherry Blair's involvement, Falconer refused to help with the court corruption. John Reid refused to help. Goldsmith refused to help. When Baroness Scotland took up post, I pursued private prosecutions. There was no way else of dealing with this. In July 2009, I was given consent to proceed private prosecutions against all these thugs of the state on my own: attempted murder, fraud, extortion, perjury, organised crime. I was dealing with it on my own. This letter came from Baroness Scotland's legal advisor, Richard Brown. It is not the letter he sent me. The letter he sent me was intercepted, photocopied, relevant parts deleted, and Ian Young has typed on it his own message. It is drivel. He can only ever produce drivel, clearly identifiable. This is Cumbrian Properties advertising my once lovely home for sale. David Carter apparently bought it from me in 2005. I have no recollection of ever selling it to David Carter at Cumbrian Properties. Apparently, a lady called Anna Judith Pirelli purchased the house. She didn't purchase the house because it was never for sale. And the insolvency, individual insolvency, months and months and months, I am not bankrupt and never have been known to be bankrupt in any court anywhere in England or Wales. However, the records do change depending on who is investigating and who is accessing secure systems to alter and delete data. This is another false document that led to the supposed bankruptcy. The appointment by the Secretary of State, then Alistair Darling, of a trustee, James Richard Duckworth. It is complete junk. This is nothing more than something somebody put together with a John Bull printing outfit. I was supposed to accept and believe all that. I will not have been the first person that trick has been, that stunt has been pulled on. Lancaster County Court, Stephen Sainsbury, Bernadette Gregson again. This is a false court document. It is a warrant for my immediate arrest and committal to Risley Prison, closed apparently in 1998 for women anyway, but I am going in 2004. Unless I go to court and give them what they want. They didn't get what they wanted. I've had many. Another false warrant for my immediate arrest on another date with a bogus judge in a bogus court. This court hearing never took place. This year, since January, I have been arrested 8 times by Lancashire Police and the London Metropolitan Police. I went to live in Harrow for 4 months this summer to get away from Lancashire. Prior to that, I had tried to live abroad. These people have very long arms. The casino development has a great many bitter people who were hoping to take a slice of the action and who resent me because they didn't get the casino. Other Greater Manchester Police were involved because they didn't get the casino either. However, they were involved because Detective Sergeant Andrew Rigby was one officer who started to investigate my case in 2004 and the link to the corruption and fraud of Manchester tribunals. Rigby was soon bought off. That net widened to include others, and as I've already said, we know what happened in 2007 when Mike Todd began to investigate his officers under Regulation 9, which is the accepting of bribes from officers. A solicitor's firm involved in this, Susan Mayers of Newcastle. Susan Mayers knows nothing whatsoever about this case, but her secretary or somebody is passing letterheaded paper to such as Ian Young to type his own junk on and serve on me to make me believe something that isn't true. Pamela Carr, the secretary of Susan Mayers, is also known as Detective Sergeant Dent of Morpeth Police. Her cover was blown by a big-mouth bully in Lancaster Police Station, Sergeant Pinder, on the 8th and 9th of November 2008, when I, with 3 others, was arrested for burgling my own house. I was held in the dark for 14 hours, no food, no drink, and I wasn't even spoken to before being told to leave. The idea was that I would break down, they could get a medic in who would say I was mentally unstable. To prove that point, Harrow Police kidnapped me on the 6th of August this year, and after leaving me in the cells for 2 days, incarcerated me in a mental institution in the south area of London. I did not know where I was. I was not allowed to contact anybody. Nobody knew where I was. One daughter reported me as a missing person, and the plan backfired. The staff at the mental institution discharged me saying there is no diagnosis to make, there is no medication that is necessary, I am completely sane. I cannot make up my story. I cannot make up these documents. I have endless documents. I have also got court impersonations of me. When they're not impersonating judges, bailiffs and such like, I am being impersonated. Court service email to me from Jane Reeves. I can confirm that District Judge Lomax sat on the case of Carol Woods, 23rd of October 2008, Liverpool Magistrates Court. I have never been in Liverpool Magistrates Court. I was impersonated by Anna Judith Pirelli, who is also the lover of Janet Woodall, who is also known as Tracy Kennedy, Lancashire Police. Everybody in this has an alias except me. This is what you get. It's what you see.